Teddy Atlas here with the fight. Welcome. Welcome to Teddy and Teddy doing a live stream for the Thurman Fundora fight. Hope everybody joins us. Hope everybody enjoys the broadcast with me commentating like the old days. Matter of fact, it reminds me of the old days as I watched Keith Thurman in his nice robe walking into the ring, because I covered one of his fights for ESPN way back when it was a PBC fight, and he got hurt in the body in that fight. He won the fight, but he got hurt early in the body and then survived that and outboxed, went on to box well. But a lot of inactivity for Thurman over the years, a lot of injuries, some surgeries. He made a lot of money early with Al Heyman and PPC. Now you got to wonder a few things. You got to wonder how hungry he is, if he's hungry at all. Is there any urgency for him at this point in his career? He's a very smart guy. He's made a lot of money. And I'm not worried about him athletically. He's still a terrific athlete. Back in the day, I thought he was the most athletic guy in boxing. And he's not used up. He's not spent at all because, let's be honest, he hasn't fought much. I'm more concerned about the mental side. Again, how important is this fight to him at this point in his career? How much does the inactivity, the timing hurt him? Physically, he's going to be fine. Mentally, where's he at? And early on, the rust factor. It'll take a few rounds maybe to get rid of the rust. And he's going to be dealing with, forget about a tall guy. I'm looking at really the parts that are potentially the most damaging to him. It's not just the height. Actually, the height could help Thurman in some ways, because I think Fundora gives up his height and he gets into the other man's punching zone where he gives a lot of target, where Thurman could catch him some left hooks in the fight, especially early on. I'm more concerned about the relentless pressure that Fundora brings. Can that wear down? And the answer is yes, it can wear anyone down. But will that wear down Keith Thurman, who again it's one thing to be in good shape and to be, like I said, he's still not used up. He still has plenty physically left. But it's one thing to be in good gym shape, but it's another thing to be in boxing shape. And that inactivity makes it impossible for him to be used to that pressure. The pressure that, again, Fundora will bring. So, again, everybody out there, come on in. The water's warm. And the timing is perfect because there he is. Teddy Atlas III showed up just as I said, everybody, come on in. Join the party. We're open to everybody on the podcast, everybody on YouTube, all our members of the Ropes. We earlier did a live stream for the Ropes members early on, and that was the Prodigy, Itoma, the heavyweight, the undefeated UK heavyweight, fighting against Franklin. He scored a knockout. We just missed. I thought we were going to get the over. We had the over 5.5, but we just missed it. A lot of people had it, though. A lot of people got it at 4.5. Unfortunately, where we put it in, we got it at 5.5, so we just missed out on it. But tremendous uppercut, tremendous talent. Itoma, just speed, power, makes you think of Mike Tyson, not style-wise. I mean, Tyson was aggressive, but Itoma was very dimensional. He could box, he could counterpunch, he could go forward, he could use the ring. He's got the hand speed. But that's what reminds me of Tyson, power and speed. but he goes about it in a whole different way, and he's a southpaw. Having said all that, hello, bud. Are you ready to do this live stream like we did earlier? Now with everybody out there on the YouTube?
Absolutely. No, absolutely. But I'm excited for this fight. I'm very intrigued. It's been a while, Keith Thurman in a big title fight like this. And obviously against Fundora, always fun to watch Fundora fight. That was a great live stream earlier. Like you said, watching Moses Aitama take care of business. And we made some money for the ropes members earlier. Willie Hutchin versus Ezra Taylor. You had the winner there. Fight going the distance, as well as Hutchinson pulling off a little upset, plus 130 for Hutchinson to win by decision. So we're off to a pretty good start, a fun start. We got a lot going on. NCAA March Madness is underway right now as we speak. The Arizona-Purdue game, as well as Israel Adesanya in the UFC Fight Night. So getting to this though, but I'm super excited, and I don't want to ruin your mood, but I just saw that Tim Cheatham is a referee tonight.
Yeah, I don't know if he's going to be
Judge,
necessary.
sorry.
No, I don't know if it's going to be necessary to worry about him because this fight might not go to the judges. The way I see it, we've called the over here. I think early on that Thurman's going to have, I think Thurman's going to have a chance early on to catch. You know, he's very athletic. He's got good legs. I think he's going to box. I think he's going to try to keep the good puncher, the tall, good puncher, wiry puncher. Wiry guys, good leverage, like Bob Foster, the light heavyweight, or Aguayo, Zarate. You know, those guys, Tommy Hearns, they all got good power because they were thin, they were wiry. Fundura's the same way. I think early on, Thurman's going to have a chance to, more importantly than a chance, I think his game plan is going to be to box. Try to keep Fundora from being set, keep him off balance. And while he's boxing, he's pretty good at closing gaps pretty quick. I think he's going to be able to close the gap and maybe catch Fundora standing tall. And again, when you're tall and you fight on the outside, you got an edge. But when you get close to the shorter guy and you're tall and you stand straight, you give a lot of target. I think Thurman's going to look to catch that target. I think early on he's going to look to hit him with the left hook. Question to me, what happens when he hits him? Does Fundora eat it? Or does he get affected by it? And then the last thing I'll say, mine just started. First round, I'm at 253. And then the other thing that I would be concerned about is the body work of Fundora. He throws a nice body shot. And Thurman has been hurt to the body. And what do you do with a guy who's going to use his legs and box? And that's exactly what Thurman's doing right now. He's trying to use the legs and box. I don't know how long he can do it, you know, at this age with this activity, but he's going to keep trying to do that. And there's no better way to take the air out of the tires than go to the body. And that would concern me too. But if Thurman can survive the early rounds and get into the deep waters, then I think we have a chance to get the over. And then I would look for Fundora to start to wear Thurman down after the 8th round. Wear him down from the pressure. That's the way I'm looking at it. I'm at 150 now. Buddy, I don't know what you're at, but I'm at 144.
It doesn't happen that too often that I'm ahead of you, and I could always use the advantage being ahead of you watching a fight. I'm at 113 right now. So
all right.
yeah, your Wi-Fi is a little slower today. What's going on over there?
I don't know. But Thurman's trying to jump in and out. He better be careful he doesn't get caught jumping in with a counter. If I'm in the corner of Fundora, his father, I'm telling him, set your feet, son. And when this shorter man jumps to you, nail him in between the jumps. In other words, punch with him. Look to time him as he comes in. If he comes in with a left hook, time him in between it with a straight left. Now, you know Thurman's going to be tempted to throw right hands because that's the southpaw killer. But so far, pretty much what I thought. Thurman moving a little bit, and then Spot's trying to close the gap quick. If you don't close the gap quick enough, and he comes in wide, though, he's going to get caught. He's already getting caught jabs, and the pressure behind that jab of the 6'6" Fundora, it's going to show. It's going to eventually show. That's why I think Thurman's got to nail him something just to slow him down. Because if he don't slow him down, if he doesn't slow him down, Thurman's going to wear him down. Not Thurman.
Fundora.
Fundora.
Yeah, and as you said in the lead up in the preview to this fight, Fundora doesn't stop with that jab, and you saw it there in that first round. He's just going to keep pumping it, as he should.
Yeah, that jab is like a piston in a car. I mean, it just keeps going. I mean, it's just like a piston. Bang, 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 bang. Nothing fancy. Funny, that was funny. The father gave himself water, but he forgot to give his son water. And his sister, the father's daughter, who was a world champion, she just reminded the father, you better give your son some water.
Yeah, I love that family, real fighting
family affair.
Gabriella.
Yeah, it's a real family affair, which is really beautiful. You can see it's a beautiful family. And he's going to Harvard. How many champions you know going to Harvard?
Insane. And she had an unbelievable performance again just 2 weeks ago. I say this every time he fights, Bud, but you get such a kick out of seeing Fundora just visually. The tallest champion in boxing is 154-pounder.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Thurman said in the lead up, but kind of what you alluded to in your preview, he's going to use his legs as he is and his movement, and he wants to cross Fundora's feet. That seemed like that was big in his game plan heading into this one. He just got stunned.
He wants to get him twisted a little.
I don't like being ahead of you. I don't want to ruin it. I'll let you call it.
No, you got it. He must have got hit a left hand.
He got buckled. It looks like he's settling in, but he definitely got buckled. That's Thurman, that is, that got buckled.
Yeah, I'm going to guess it was with a left hand. Yeah, it was. Here it is. I just saw it now. He caught him coming in. I said he's got to, what I don't like so far, I know that they gave a fight plan. They came up with a strategy. I get it. But when he jumps in, he's leaving himself a little bit open. And like I said, if I'm in the corner of Fundora, I'm telling him, set your feet, son. And when he jumps in, just nail him with a left hand in between his wide shots. And it turned out that's exactly what it was. And you know what you got to do to disrupt that, take that away from Fundora, Bud? If you're in the corner of Thurman, and I hope they told him this, I really do, because you got to help your fighter, especially when he's an underdog. You got to give him the right strategy. I hope they told him to use feints. I don't see them. I don't see any feints. But if he's going to jump in and he doesn't want to get caught jumping in, Thurman needs to feint once in a while to keep Fundora guessing, to keep him off balance. So give him a little feint, let him think you're jumping in, and then when when you make him pull the trigger prematurely, then you could come in, and you can come in safe, where the chamber is empty, the bullet is already out of the chamber. So feints are very important for me. And I got to tell you, I haven't seen one feint. And I hope the fans are joining us. And I'd love to know if the fans agree with me. That's the great thing about doing the commentating like this. The fans, they can join in. They can chirp in once in a while and later on. And I wonder if the fans agree that they're as surprised as I am that Thurman's not using any feints. I'm at 14 seconds, so...
the round has ended on my TV. As to your question, Bud, as the fans are joining, the viewers are with us, we appreciate all you guys. I'd say the best way to support us, guys, if you could hit the like button, if you aren't already subscribed for the podcast, and take a look at our sponsors. You see the shirt my father's wearing, Fiofo. You see the great coffee there, La Rocca. That's the best way to support us by supporting our sponsors. We appreciate that, and we appreciate them. Uh, a lot of people are saying our man Matt Borgerson's here with us, bud, from the ropes, and he's saying Keith looks like he's a shot fighter right now. He doesn't look good. He looks terrible.
Got to give him a couple rounds before you make a strong comment like that. I'll tell you why. The rust factor. He's been inactive. So before you could call him a shot fighter, and there's the replay, he jumped in with a wide shot. And he, just like I said, he jumped in with a wide right hand. He was trying to throw it. And he got caught with a straight punch down the middle. So that I kind of predicted that early. You can't say he's a shot fighter. He's a rusty fighter. He's a fighter where his timing's not there yet. You got to give him a few rounds before you make a powerful comment like that. I wish Richie could maybe sync me up here and maybe sync me up with my son with the round. Can you, Rich?
I don't think you could fast forward. Sometimes it's just you're at the mercy of the feed and your connection over there. But yeah, I'm at 220 right now. Where are you at, bud? Round three.
I'm at 239.
You know, when you watch Thurman, as you said, jump in at that left hook, it reminds me of that Mike Tyson Punch-Out video game with Little Mick. That's what it looks like, right? I mean, 5'8" for 6'6" right now.
Yeah. No, I mean, again, if I'm in the corner, it looks like the father's got the strategy pretty covered for Fundora. If I'm in his corner, use your jab, stabilize Thurman, keep him busy with the jab so he can't pot shot you too easy. And then when he jumps in, just time him with something straight. Right now, Thurman's trying to survive, keep him more balanced, moving. The problem with this is he's doing nothing to slow down Fundora, nothing to dissuade Fundora from coming forward. That's the problem. And the other problem inherent with it is you're going to wear down. You're moving. You're feeling there's a movable object coming at you. He keeps coming at you. Between the physical and the mental pressure, that wears a fighter out. That tires a fighter, psychologically and physically.
We're getting some questions that are coming in. A lot of people are commenting Thurman might have a long night ahead. But one of the questions from RK is, how does Thurman find a way in?
Well, he's doing it, okay? You know, he's moving left, he's moving right. And then what he's trying to do is catch Fundora's feet not set like that. He didn't get all the way in. But he's trying to move both sides, get Fundora moving his feet, trying to stay up to him, and then suddenly attack when Fundora's feet are not under him. In other words, keep him off balance, move him left, move him right, and then all of a sudden come forward quickly when Fundora is not set to punch. That's his strategy right now. The problem is when it doesn't work, I can see Thurman gets frustrated and then he's prone to lunging. And you don't want to lunge in front of a guy who can throw a nice straight punch, because if you lunge, he's going to nail you lunging. That's the end of the third in my household. Looks like there's a little abrasion on the forehead of Thurman. I thought I saw something before he went to his corner. Right now, they're in the corner of Fundora.
A little swollen, it looked like under the eyes of Keith. Live betting, Fundora minus 1,400 already. Keith plus 700. Keith entered this fight in the plus 250 to 300 range. And will the fight go the distance? No, minus 400.
Yeah, I mean, look, it looks like he's going to wear him down if he keeps going this way, because Thurman has to do something to slow down. You know, right now it's like dealing with the ocean. The tide keeps coming in and it ain't going out. And when it keeps coming in, what happens? Every time it comes in, and when it leaves, it takes some of the sand of the beach away. And then it becomes less and less sand and less Thurman. And that's what Fundora is trying to do. So again, for the question out there about how does he get in, I think I answered it pretty good, but you can see it again. You can see what he's trying to do. Thurman and his people, you see what their strategy is. Move left, move right, keep reading them, keep good eyes on him. And when you think you got his legs off balance, and then you could attack when he's not ready. But don't get caught on the way in. I'm worried about the uppercut of Fundora, because Thurman, being a shorter guy, when he jumps in, he leans a little. And that uppercut he's got a good uppercut, Fundora.
Yeah, Keith should be going to the body more, as you would say, put some order in the basement.
He better be careful jumping in, because I don't know if Fundora heard me, but he's starting to throw that uppercut when Keith tries to close the gap. I hope they're using an end swell in the corner of Thurman, because he's got a little bleeding on his forehead, and he's got a little swelling there.
Yeah, I mean, I know it's a tough game plan against the disadvantages or the advantages for Fundora, but at this rate, he's got to take more chances and try to win the fight, right? Or is he going to just try to keep moving and survive?
But, you're right. But I think he is taking chances. They're just not working.
Yeah.
He is jumping in. He is trying to get in. But if he does any more than that, it's going to be like suicide, So I think he's trying to take chances.
There it is right there. He tried with the right hand.
But he's just coming up short. Because I give credit to Fundora for being such an aggressive guy. He still keeps his length and height pretty good. He's learning to fight tall while still aggressive. And that's not easy to do. That is not easy to do. And he's really getting better. His father's doing a good job. Since he won the title, he has improved 30%. And I always say that cousin the old timers would tell me, Teddy, a guy wins the title, he's going to improve 30%. Fundora has improved. And he's learning how to be tall and fight tall much better than he did early on, when he got knocked out by Mendoza.
You'll see Thurman's corner in a second, but no end swell. They're putting ice, but it's not end swell.
Yeah. Right now, they're putting ice on the back of the head. That ain't helping them. I want to see on the back of the neck, the back. I mean, I'd like to see some ice on his forehead. Well, there it is. There's the ice pack. Yeah, but you're not keeping it there long enough. So
yeah, you need to
do that. You can't pat him down with the ice. No good. You got to keep it there for half a minute. I know you only got a minute. Keep it there for half a minute. Keep it there for 40 seconds.
Our man Matt said Fundora's drinking that La Rocca coffee right now.
Yeah, he's charged.
Oh, Thurman came out hot to start the fifth. Nice little combo.
Yeah, we're not there yet, bud.
I think it was right hand up top.
I'm a little behind you. He's got to come out trying to do something to Stu. He caught him with his right hand. He's got to do something to stem the tide.
Do you think Fundora shouldn't be he's walking in more now, not behind the jab, and just giving up that height?
Fundora should keep coming in behind the jab. Coming behind the jab. This way you keep the guy from timing you on the way in. If you just walk in with no jab, you give Thurman a chance to machine gun you. You give him a chance. He got quick hands. He puts them together sometimes. You come in with no jab, no bugs on the windshield. You give Thurman a chance to get clean shots at you without being obstructed by your jab. You want to obstruct him with your jab. So it's hard for Thurman to throw shots at you. It's part of your defense. It's not only your offense.
Man, this Fundora is an inferno. He just does not stop. I mean, the
Oh, and
amount
then he
of
starts
sheer
putting them
volume.
together. He starts putting them together. You know, I would call his punches when he starts to put them together with the
There's that left hook
uppercuts.
of Thurman.
When
He
he
is
starts
really
putting them
going for it a
together with
little
the
more this
uppercut and
round, bud.
everything, to me, it's like a slingshot, like a rubber band. It's like a slingshot, and he don't stop. Fundora, Thurman's handling it, but it's got to wear him down.
It is. But I think to what I was saying last round, I feel this round he's taking more of those risks and those chances than he
Yeah,
was
he
to
is
me.
being forced to, though. But yeah, you're right. He's being forced to. What he might want to do when he gets close is tie him up, kill some time.
Yeah, I don't think Thurman's winning this round, but it's probably his best or most competitive round so far. Would you agree?
Yeah, I agree 100%. I wonder what's going to happen the next round after he spent so much gasoline on.
That's a great point. I have 20 seconds here, round 5.
You know, after he spent so much petrol, I wonder what's going to happen the next round.
Well, I hope they have the end swell next round because that right eye is definitely.
Yeah, I mean, I don't like what they did the last round.
Uh-oh.
They didn't, they didn't apply the ice.
He survived that round barely, and he's walking wobbly, Thurman is, to his corner.
He's getting worn down.
Yeah, you could see it. As you would say, that putter on a hot summer day, he's starting to evaporate a little bit.
Hey, he got caught a left hand coming in on the forehead, and then he got caught a straight left. He's showing
Our
hard.
viewers are saying gas is at a premium these days.
Yeah, I hear you. Expensive. I tell you right now, this is where you got to worry. Not only because he took punishment, you got to wonder where his mind is. He made a lot of money. He's been retired. He's been unretired. This is where you got to wonder. Do you want to, are you ready to go to those dark places that you used to go to? You used to go to those dark places because you had to. You had no choice. Now you don't have to. Your family's been taken care of. You've been taken care of. You don't have to go to those dark places anymore. What are you going to do? What are you going to do?
Doctor's taking a look at Thurman. And now he will start round 6. Vegas has the under over now at 7.5, minus 110 either way. This fight over under was 9.5 going into it.
You got a woman doctor here. I mean, I don't know what she's doing, but I don't know. I hope she knows. I don't know.
The
Nothing
left
against
hook of
women
Thurman
doctors.
that you talked about, it's
I don't know how much
starting
she's been
to.
around boxing. Go ahead.
No, you'll see here in a second, but he is trying to do the right game plan with that movement behind that left hook you spoke about, but it's just too much Fundora. He's breaking him down. He's
Yeah, Fundora's seeing it coming.
bloodied up now, Thurman.
Fundora's seeing everything coming. That's the problem. See, he's using his height well, but he's got about 3 feet leadway that he sees Thurman coming. And that gives him 3 feet of reaction time, to avoid it. You know the problem here, they'll probably stop it in the corner, the doctor.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because the way he looks.
Yeah, it feels like the stoppage is coming.
I mean, the way he looks,
And there it is. The referee. You could complain about that one. I could see some people already probably will. But the way where it was going, trying to protect the fighter, I don't know. Former world champion and Keith Thurman, I give him a little more there.
Yeah, the referee wants to protect himself.
The corner didn't help. Look at those eyes. They never put the end swell on. They put a nice bag, not the end swell.
I think it's a quick stoppage. I know where it's going. I get it. And I'm not saying it because we had the over. But I think, I don't know. I mean, he's all busted up.
Yeah.
Uh,
I mean, I did say a couple seconds before that, it felt like the stoppage was coming. So it's hard to disagree. But yeah, he could have probably gave him a little more shot.
Yeah, I mean, I said it was coming, but I thought it was going to come at the end of the round anyway, and it would have. The doctor would have stopped in the corner. Maybe the corner would have stopped it, but the referee, the referee, I guess he was compassionate, but he's getting busted up. I mean, you could argue it was a little quick, but you could also say, hey, it was inevitable. He saved him. Maybe his eye getting busted up more.
Does Sebastian Fundora not get enough credit? Is he underrated? I mean, when we talk about 154 pounders, I keep hearing Virgil Ortiz, Boots Ennis, even Xander Zayas. Before that was Bakram. When are we going to start hearing more about this guy? Or is it just me?
No, it's not you, bud. You're right. The way he's been looking, the way he's improved, you know, all of that, his attitude, his aggression, his relentless pressure, his power, his size. He's learning to fight tall better a little bit, mix it up. But I'll tell you why he's not getting it. I'll tell you why he's not getting it. Because of the guys that he's beaten. He beat Zoo, who had gotten knocked out before that. And now he beat Fundora. I mean, he beat Thurman, who's been basically inactive the last 7 years, 6 years, 5 years, whatever, on and off. And, and moved up a weight class. And so I think part of the reason why he's not getting credit and he's not getting more love and flowers is because he's not beating A-list guys, at least in the minds of the people that do that kind of rating. Is that fair?
Yeah, I could see that. But what a likable kid. I mean, you talk about a kid that you would want to a sponsor put your name on. This is the guy. And there's his
I
sister.
mean, look at him. His sister's there for him. His father, his sister's a world champion. They're great people. They conduct themselves like champions in and out of the ring. They're good ambassadors for the sport. I mean, the kid is a world champion and he's going to Harvard. I mean, really, yeah.
Yeah, a lot of the comments, not thrilled, as we said, with the stoppage. It was a little early that when you have a champion like Thurman, you give him a little more of a chance that way. But I think everybody also kind of agrees with what we were seeing, where the fight might have been heading, regardless.
No, I agree, bud. I mean, I could see why you could argue the stoppage, but at the same time, when you look at the way that it was going, it looked like it was inevitable. He was getting busted up. And also, I guess you factor in, I don't know if you're supposed to factor this in, to be honest, but when you factor in the guy's older, he's been very inactive, and you factor all of that in, you already knew that he had a tough job in front of him. And you got this young, tall guy who's relentless, whose punch numbers are huge, who can punch. You start to say, hey, why wait any longer? It's not going to change.
Yeah, we got a couple questions before we sign off here as Fundora is being interviewed by Jim Gray in the ring. I think this is an interesting one. RK's asking Teddy, how and why does Fundora swelling cut opponents so much? Is it
You
because
know
he's
what?
punching down?
Yeah, he does sometimes, but I tell you what it is. Did you hear me during the fight, the last few rounds, when, excuse me, when I said that Fundora throws a slingshot type punch?
Yes.
It's like a rubber band. And he, because of his long arms, because of the leverage he gets, the torque he gets, he throws a very unique type punch. Some people throw it with a more blunt punch, blunt force, like a Foreman, but he throws it with, some people throw it with pure snap. He throws a combination. It's not really snap, but it's some snap in the shoulders, but it's a whiplash, a slingshot whiplash with those long arms, and that gives you a better opportunity to cut somebody. And the kind of punches he's throwing those uppercuts, they slash you, they come up, they slash you. He's throwing what you just touched on, Bud. He's throwing punches down, they slash down. You don't see that too often, to be honest. You see it with him. So I think all of what I just said, the type of punches he throws with the kind of whiplash that he presents with those punches, I think that's where you're getting some of that.
Yeah, it makes sense. And as I'm just looking through some of the comments, but just switching topics very quickly from this fight. Earlier, we were on at the ropes, TeddyAtlasBoxing.com for members only. Private commentary by you, fight companion for the Atama fight. And Moshe Atama, very impressive. First man to stop Jermaine Franklin. I believe that was in the 5th round. We just have some viewers asking and want to hear your take on Moses' performance and if he is ready to fight maybe a Usyk next. As everybody is saying, he might be the man to the throne for the future.
I think he needed more seasoning going into this fight before you could talk about Usyk. I think that he's a very talented kid. The sky is the limit. He's a very talented kid where he's technically sound and he has a lot of dimensions, a lot of options. You know, he can box, he can use his legs, he can come forward, you know, he can counterpunch. He's got fast hands. He's got power to go with the speed. You haven't seen a heavyweight with speed and power combination maybe like that at that level since Tyson. I know Tyson did it aggressively with one dimension style. And obviously, I just said it. Atuma does it a whole different way. He's got a lot of dimensions, how he can go about it. But that combination of speed and power is there. And I thought coming in here, before you could talk about Usyk and those likes, that he did need more seasoning. He just got some. This fight, it didn't test him, you know, to a full level, but it definitely was a formative fight. It definitely was a fight that will improve him. It was definitely a fight that tested him a little bit, much more than the other previous fights, where I don't think he got a lot out of it. But this fight, he got a little something out of it. It was a fight, kind of what it was designed to be by Frank Warren and his people, where you want to develop a talent like that, you want to bring him along the right way, and you want to gradually increase the opposition, where, you know, he starts to find out about himself, that he could depend on himself, he could get himself out of jams, he can deal with difficulty. He didn't deal with a lot of difficulty, but he dealt with an experienced fighter that was avoiding some of his big shots for the first 4 rounds or so. He was still there. He was, you know, he was looking. He wasn't throwing a lot, but he was looking to throw in the right spots. I think it was a step in the right direction towards getting the maturity, the seasoning, the experience, some of the answers to the questions you want to get for a young kid. I would take one more before I'd go after Usyk. I think this was a fight, again, in the right direction if I'm developing him. I would want one more. A guy that maybe on paper says to me he can go into the deeper rounds. And where my guy will have to mature a little bit, handle him, but have to go into the deeper rounds.
Now, going back to Fundora, bud, let me just ask you this before we sign off. If you were to pick out of the current 154-pound champions, new one, relatively new, recently, I should say, was Mr. Kelly, Josh Kelly over in the UK. You have Xander Zayas. He unified against Baru. You got Boots Ennis. And then you got Virgil Ortiz, who right now is forced to be inactive due to some promotional contract issues with De La Hoya. If you could pick any of those guys and give them the best chance stylistically against Fundora, who is it and why? In my head, it might be Virgil because of the body attack and the aggression.
Yeah, Virgil. I love Virgil Ortiz. I mean, he hasn't learned how to lose yet. That's a plus. He's got boxing in his veins. He was a good amateur. I mean, he's experienced. Uh, he's gotten experience at the top level now. He is a good body puncher. He does have versatility. He's shown that he doesn't have to only come forward. He's shown that he does have the ability to box a little bit, mix it up a little bit. Anybody's going to have trouble with this guy's pressure and size. Pressure and size, not just size. Pressure and size. I haven't seen too many guys I haven't seen anyone this tall, but I haven't seen tall guys that can apply pressure and still maintain the advantage of size. I really haven't seen that. It's pretty remarkable that this guy can do that he can actually do that. So that's a big deal. I don't think anyone gives him credit for that. I mean, I think everybody's going to have a perfect fight plan when they fight this tall punching machine.
Yeah, I think when I think back, Paul Williams maybe closest to that, about 6'2", 6'3", 147 pounds.
Yeah, and he was a southpaw. Yeah, I mean, and he threw a lot of punches. You're right. He threw a lot of punches. But this kid is taller, and like I said, he's learning to throw punches and still maintain his advantage of length and height. That is a hell of a trick to learn.
Yeah, absolutely. But I hate to give you bad news because I know you're such a big friend of Israel Adesanya, but he was stopped tonight. Izzy lost.
What round? Two,
I gotta pull it up. I'm not sure.
2 rounds.
I don't know.
I'm not. I'm not surprised. Unfortunately, I think the ship has sailed. I think he's at that place that maybe people say Thurman's at now, or they say other fighters when they get to that place that you don't have it at that level to fight anymore. You shouldn't fight anymore. I think that Adesanya has been at that place for a little while now, where obviously the best has passed him by.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. He's had an amazing career, obviously. Great fighter, Hall of Famer. He lost in the second round, and we said it earlier today. We were concerned for that, especially after even besides what you said, seeing him after that weight cut. He did not look good getting off of those scales yesterday.
No, he looked weakened. He looked dehydrated. He looked beaten.
Yeah, and
And
on a
in his recent performances, he's been very vulnerable. And you hope that he stays out now because he is a legend. He was one of the great middleweight champs, and he was a guy who was very unique. A guy that was, I mean, you hadn't seen guys do what he did since Anderson Silva when he was at his prime. I mean, he was a phenomenal striker, and he gave you angles. He was tremendous. But as his timing left him, his reflexes started to betray him with age, he became very vulnerable.
reminds you in so many ways, at least for me, to Roy Jones Jr. in the boxing world, right? So
No,
dominant early on, but once the reflexes slowed down, Adesanya, maybe around the Strickland fight, but yeah, he hasn't been the same in a couple of years now.
That's a great analogy, to be honest, because Roy was heads and heels above everyone. Speed, timing, reflexes, anticipation. Um, Roy did things wrong and made it right, and he got away with it. And then when his reflexes started to betray him and his speed, he became, he became vulnerable because there were technical deficiencies where he got away with it because of his beautiful, great, extraordinary talent. But when the talent wasn't there at that level, and his technique or his lack of technique started to expose him, to get caught clean. And the same thing for Adesanya, very, very, very similar.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna close it up here in a minute, bud. A lot of comments coming in just about Fundora, right? How much fun he is to watch, how he's starting to get better using his length. And what somebody said, I'd rather live in Antarctica than fight Fundora.
Yeah, well, as long as you have a fur coat, um, I wouldn't want you to live there without a fur coat. But um, yeah, I mean, look, he's a he's a problem. But and I'm not being a party pooper. I love Fundora. But before we go too crazy, remember the guys that he's beaten recently. He beat Costas. He beat what's his name? Zoo. He beat
Zoo, yeah.
Zoo, who he had beaten once before in a controversial fight where Zoo was bleeding very badly, and where before he fought him in a rematch, Zoo had been knocked out. So he beats Zoo, and then he beats, Thurman, who's been very inactive, moved up in weight, and was a huge underdog for those reasons. So let him beat somebody maybe a little bit of a higher level of thought before you go too crazy. But I agree, he has improved since you won the title.
Yeah, and he reminds me of one of your friends and favorite fighters to watch at 126 pounds, Rafa Espinoza. Except Fundora's starting to control range a little more. We'll see if Espinoza starts to do that. He just loves to fight, as Fundora does.
Yeah, very good comparison. I love Espinoza. Um, but again, if he's going to have longevity, he's going to probably have to learn what Fundora's starting to learn, how to use his height and length a little more consistently and not get into so many firefights.
We got one last question, Triple X. We appreciate you supporting us, Triple X. He asked, Teddy, can Fundora beat Boots? What's your thoughts on that one?
With the confidence he's got right now, using his height, the way that he's using it, a lot better, his length and his height, not just his height. He's not, it's not out of question that he could beat anybody. It's not out of question he could beat anyone. Boots is a real good, solid fighter, and he's undefeated. He hasn't learned how to lose. That's a big, big plus that he has not learned how to lose. And he was a real good amateur. He's a very solid fighter, Boots. Again, he's a very dimensional fighter. He can fight inside, he can box, he can pressure you, he can punch. He's a good body puncher. That would be an interesting fight. Can he beat him? Yeah. But it's the kind of fight, and I guess you could say the same thing on the other side of the equation, probably also for Fundora. But it's the kind of fight where Boots couldn't make mistakes. He couldn't reach in. You reach in with him, you're going to get caught. You might get caught in uppercut. So yeah, be a very interesting fight.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think any of these fights, as we were saying, and listen off rattling these names at 154, I think they'll all be good, interesting fights. I think that might be the best division right now in boxing.
Yeah, it's a hot division. You know, some of those guys moved up from welterweight, right? Obviously, and
Yeah, Boots, a lot of the names we touch on, but
Virgil did too, I guess. But yeah, it's definitely a packed, hot division.
yeah, and people are saying Thurman couldn't be a fireman tonight. Sad to see Thurman go out like that. It was, but you got to give him credit. He did try. He did show heart, and at 37
A
years old,
lot of
he
heart, and
made
he
a lot of
really,
money.
no, he showed a lot of heart. And some guys protest the stoppage. It's not a real strong protest. They kind of just do what they think they have to do to look like, go through the motions. But you can see Thurman really was upset that the referee stopped it. So, yeah, he showed a lot of heart, which he always has.
Yeah, absolutely. But the referee, a lot of viewers not too thrilled with referee Taylor tonight in that quick stoppage.
I
But
agree. Listen, I can't argue with them, but I don't like to be on the fence. I'm not known for sitting on the fence, but I don't I could understand and don't disagree with them, but at the same time, you could see that the referee kind of knew he'd be safe stopping this because, like, how you gonna how you gonna really go nuts on him when the guy's busted up, when it was a shutout, and it didn't look like it was going to change.
yeah, no, I'm with you, bud. And the one name people are saying we didn't mention 154 used to be the man was Charlo, but the brothers, the two of them, just too many issues, I guess, mental health outside the ring, just not enough activity. He disappeared after the Canelo payday. So
I'm glad he brought it up because you just reminded me he was there. I mean, my son said it right. I'll be honest. I'm always going to be honest with you. I I forgot about Charlo. I'm not afraid to admit it. Very talented fighters, both of them, very talented. And one of them is still undefeated. But I mean, I don't know if they're retired or not retired or semi-retired. But
and then
all I
another
know is they're
name
not
you could
fighting.
throw in there is Spence. I hope we don't see a Spence Fundora. But there's
Yeah, I
still
mean,
the talk. Is he retired? Is he coming back?
well, that's he falls right into the same category, really, of Charlo. I mean, I forgot about him too, to be honest. And it would be hard for me to get behind him in a tough fight where he's been retired. I mean, I know that someone's going to say, Teddy, he didn't retire. All right, but when you're not fighting, you're basically retired.
Yeah, and with the amount of money he made versus Crawford, and then the eye surgeries, the car accident, I'd like to see him stay retired.
I agree. I mean, the the car accident changed things. I think they did. I think that did change things. And then of course that just real bad beating that he took from a great fighter, a fighter who went on, of course, to beat Canelo, but a beating he took from a great fighter. And sometimes fighters never recover from that period. 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 They don't recover from that. But then when you add in everything he's been through with the car accident and everything else, and now he's getting old and older, and again, it's been a long time.
Yeah, no question. And you're talking about retired or not retired, we're not sure. Well, Terrence Crawford, I'd love to see him come back. I'm sure everybody would for one more, but I'd like to see him versus Fundora. I know everybody wants Boots, and we wanted that in the past at 147 before they both moved up now, or maybe even Virgil. But anyway, as we're talking retirement and fighters, that'd be the one, right?
But I'm gonna throw a I'm gonna throw a wrench in the works, and I'm gonna put a little bit of fly in the ointment with that one. I don't want to see him come back.
No, I
He's a
know
great
you want to see
player.
him right off into the sunset as you do for Usyk.
I don't want to. Who are you talking about?
Crawford, right?
Yeah, I don't want to. I agree. I want to see him go off into the sunset. I want to see Usyk do the same thing. They deserve to go off in the sunset as great fighters. With their legacy impact to leave the way we remembered them at the top as the best. I don't want him to be one of those guys in our business that stays too long. And there's too many of them. There's too many. The history books are littered with them, with guys that stay too long. Great fighters, but they stay too long. I want to see these two great fighters. We're talking about Crawford right now. I want to see him leave at the right time. And you know what? He left at the right time. Leave it at that. To me, that's part of his greatness. He was so smart in the ring, and he's smart here, getting out of the ring at the right time. Keep it that way.
Yeah. No, I hear you, bud. And with that being said, Mr. Usyk will be fighting again end of May. But for next week, if you guys
That's
enjoyed
a
this,
one-off. For me, anything can happen. Don't get me wrong, but that's a one-off. I mean, he's fighting a guy, a karate guy, kickboxer. It should be, to steal a phrase from the great Floyd Mayweather, it should be easy work, easy money. And he deserves it. He earned it. He earned the freebie. He earned the free lunch. And then after that, it gets serious again.
yeah, next week we are going to be back here, YouTube, The Fight with Teddy Atlas, another fight companion live stream from across the pond, but in the UK, we got Chisora versus Wilder. So just want to let everybody know we will be doing that next week. We're going to be doing a podcast after this. We'll do a recap of all the fights and a preview for that fight for next week. That'll go up on the YouTube channel, The Fight with Teddy Atlas, as always. And if you guys enjoy these, we do these over at the ropes. At the ropes, the only difference is we don't have to read the questions in the comments off of a chat board. You're there in the private room with Teddy on Zoom, and you could directly ask questions during the fight, betting tips, any questions, and Teddy's private commentary. So we try to rotate. We did a doubleheader today. Again, we were over there for the Atama fight earlier on. We also gave out some picks and a winner, the Willie Hutchinson fight. And before we sign off, bud, any words, anything for that fight next week? Just real quick. We're gonna get into more of it in the preview, but just Wilder and Chisora.
Look, I'm going to shoot it like I always do, straight. Don't mean you have to agree with me. Don't mean I'm right. But my experience is gonna say what I feel, what I see, what it tells me to say. You know, you got two older guys that are shop worn. They're not what they used to be physically. And I don't know if they should still be fighting. God bless them. You know, they want to keep fighting and make more money. I can't tell them they can't do that. The good news is they're both older. They're both diminished. It's not like they're fighting a younger guy. So that's better maybe. But I get concerned with guys. One guy's 40, one's 42. But not just chronologically. They've taken a lot of punishment. They've taken a lot of punishment. Wilder lately in the last couple of years in fights with Fury. I mean, he took a lot of punishment in those last two fights with Fury. And of course, Chisora has taken punishment throughout his career. Chisora is a fan-friendly guy. I mean, you got to love him. He's a warrior. You know, he just keeps calm and he comes at you. He throws punches from left field, right field, center field. but he just keep coming. Wilder's got that right hand power. I don't know if he's still got the power he used to have. I know that the power is the last thing that leaves an older fighter. George Foreman proved that. But I don't know. Wilder hasn't looked great his last few fights, but sometimes one thing I always say, straight beats round. And if you go by that, Wilder throws a straight right hand, or at least he can. And Chisora throws a lot of round punches. Gives you a lot of opportunities to catch him in between those round punches. And you know where he's coming from. He's coming right up the middle all the time, Chisora. You know, there's nothing fancy. He's coming in that front door. I'll leave it with this. I'm not comparing them to these fighters. Of course, they're iconic. They're legendary. But when Ali fought Frazier in Manila, that became one of the great fights of all time. But one of the reasons why it became one of the great fights of all time was both fighters were past themselves physically. They were both diminished. They were both easier to hit. Their reflexes had slowed. But they were both less than they had been in those physical categories. But where they were not less was in the categories of character, pride and character. And that made it a great fight. And it made a brutal fight where they left so much of themselves in Manila that night. So much of themselves. They never recovered from that. But because they were easier to hit, because they were diminished physically, and because they still had great character, great pride, great will, it became a great but brutal, punishing, damaging fight. And a fight that will be remembered forever. I don't know that these guys will be involved in that, but I'll tell you one thing. They'll both be right there in front of each other throwing, because at this stage in their careers, they don't have many choices.
No, well said. I think that was a excellent place to leave off and end this live stream, bud. As always, I appreciate you. That was a doubleheader of fights. You're gonna go watch Adesanya. We're gonna knock out this podcast. So fire up some of that La Rocca coffee. It's a late night out east.
There it is. I gotta fill the cup. Gotta fill the cup.
All right. Well, as always, everybody who joined, we appreciate all you guys. Thank you so much. We hope to see you guys again next week for Chisora versus Wilder live stream here, and also for the podcast, which will air on Monday morning.
And remember, last thing, right here, right here. I'll let my son say it. Go ahead, bud. Take it away.
Fit in or F off. Have a good night, everyone.